Hi, my name is Melinda Smith from Noble Works, the leading provider of Enneagram workshops in Australia. This video is part of a series about this ancient tool for personality profiling and development called the Enneagram. We've partnered with Port Stephens Council in New South Wales, Australia, to share our learnings about the value of using the Enneagram as a tool for personal and organisational transformation in the workplace. The Council has made a significant commitment during the past decade to develop staff to be the best they can be by using the Enneagram. Self-awareness is a key leadership competency. Self-aware people transform themselves and their organisations. In this episode, we'll be talking about the Enneagram Type 7. I'm here with Nicole LaGrange from Port Stephens Council, who is going to share with us how the knowledge of the Enneagram has improved and helped develop relationships and performance, personally and professionally. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm the Work Health and Safety Manager here at Port Stephens Council. I've worked at Council for close to 29 years. I have done a variety of jobs since when I first started, but yeah, as I said, currently I'm the Work Health and Safety Manager. And within our team, we manage workers' comp, we do a lot of audits, workplace inspections, we also manage the contractor management system, and so for us it's all about compliance.
So as a manager here, how have you used the Enneagram to work with the people that you manage?
Well, I mean, you're working with such a variety of people, and the Enneagram has helped me to identify how I'm going to get the best out of these people. So as I said, we're all about compliance, and so how am I going to work together with these people to actually get them to achieve what we're setting out to do? So it's knowing their personalities, it's knowing what their buttons are, and just working with them.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about the personality of a Type 7. Take us into your world. What does that look like?
It's a frantic world. It's full on. My head never stops. I'm always doing something. So it's a very active world. It can be tiring at times too, but it is very full on.
And how has that translated from is it the same in your personal and your professional worlds?
Very much so, yes. I never stop when I'm at home. I make myself lists every morning, and I'm very happy if at the end of the day I've got through that list. My husband's always telling me, will you just stop, will you sit down? But I can't. I always feel like I have to be doing something.
So why is that so hard for a Type 7, do you think?
I think we like to be driven, we like different things, we like to achieve things. And yeah, it's just really hard to sit back and do nothing, because always like to have new challenges and be doing something really fun and interesting.
We're hearing from all of the personality types around the Enneagram, and in particular the strengths and the gifts. What does a Type 7 bring to the workplace?
I think we're quite creative, so we're great at brainstorming, so we sort of come at things from a bit left of field. So we like to progress things. We're not one that just sits back and just listens, and we like to be in there amongst it, coming up with some ideas and solutions. I guess if you want to get something done, come to a 7, because we're very good at juggling and we tend to do a lot of things at the same time.
So multitasking?
Very good at multitasking, yes.
And what about that bigger picture aspect? Are the 7s looking at the bigger vision, the broader picture?
Yeah, I find that that's what you tend to do. You can, look ahead of you and see where you want to get, but you've also got to be careful that you don't do all those steps in between, because we're wanting to get to the end line as quick as we can at times, the finish line.
Well, studying the Enneagram and working with it, what have you learned about yourself that has been useful in terms of your leadership role here as a leader and having the ability to help others and bring them along as a Type 7?
I think I'm a good communicator and I can adjust to my audience. So I really do know how to communicate well with each other and, get the best out of the people that I'm working with. Whether it's I'm out in the field with the guys or whether I'm in a corporate meeting, I'm quite comfortable in any setting, but I think that's because I can adjust to my audience.
And would you describe the Type 7s as a optimistic, bubbly kind of type?
Very much so. I mean, if you think something's going negative, I'll always see, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, or I'll always be the one that's optimistic about, you know, we're going to get there. Always that glass full, not empty. And I must admit, people that are, you know, glass empty people can be a bit frustrating for me because, yeah, I always like to see the positive in everything.
What are some of the strategies that that you're working on as a Type 7 to improve your leadership?
I think one of the things I've really had to learn to do is just breathe at times. You can get so caught up and so in the moment that you forget to sort of just slow down a bit and stop and think. So for me, it's all about, okay, take a breath. As I said, I create lists, so that keeps me focused, because otherwise I do have a tendency to jump from one thing to another, and in all honesty at times not finish it properly. So by creating a list, it does keep me very focused. I've had to, instead of having multiple balls up in the air at times, you know, doing so many different things, I've had to pull back a bit just so I can focus on just one or two tasks at a time, and then, you know, inevitably I get the best out of that project then, because I've been able to give it my full attention.
We're looking at stress and anger around the Enneagram. What does that look and feel like for a Type 7?
Well, I mean, we can get quite stressed because, yeah, you've got so many things going on. You're always so active. So it's really important to keep those stress levels under control. Meditation, yoga, that type of thing, because it is quite easy for a Type 7 to get quite stressed. Anger, pretty good with anger. It takes me a while. I'll simmer, then I might, you know, explode, but then it dissipates pretty quickly. I don't tend to hold grudges for too long.
Is that optimism coming in?
Well,
you
you
give
know,
people the benefit of the doubt?
I try. You know, I'm always, oh, but they're a lovely person. They're really nice, you know. And everyone just looks at me and goes, geez, you've got no idea. But that's how I deal with it, I guess.
Yeah. So if I was working with a Type 7 in the workplace, what could I do to build a really good relationship with the Type 7, whether it's a co-worker or a manager?
I think it's important not to hold a 7 back. Let them be creative, let them run with ideas. Give them an end goal, you know, and even set a time frame, because otherwise we won't stick to times. But yeah, let them be creative, let them come out with new ideas. Don't micromanage them, because that's the worst thing you can do. And just create an environment which is open, fun. You know, don't forget fun, got to throw fun in there, otherwise we get very bored. So yeah, it has to be a bit lively and keep up the good communication channels. Communication's very important for a 7. They're good at talking.
I can tell.
Have you worked that out?
I have worked that out.
Okay.
Just finally, your observations. You've been with council, as you said, for nearly 3 decades. So you've worked with Port Stephens before the Enneagram and during the Enneagram. How would you describe the value that this tool has brought to Port Stephens Council?
I think it's just brought a tool that, you know, builds upon good working relationships, because before, you know, you'd get frustrated with someone and not understand why they're doing it the way they're doing it, you know. But now you have that tool where you can go, hang on, I know how we can work together here, and you just approach things differently. I'm one that is not big on detail, so if I've got a meeting with a manager that they're very detail focused, I'm prepared for that now. I won't go in there with all my crazy ideas and, you know, saying how cool it's going to be and it's a great concept. I go in there with facts. So it just really does build those good working relationships, and you end up with a good product at the end.
So would you say that the Enneagram has developed, almost transformed Port Stephens Council?
I think it's definitely helped in its transformation. I mean, just recently, well, last year we were awarded Best Safety Culture for a large business in safety, so hey, that's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But that's all a part of it too, I think, you know. I mean, that was such a big recognition to have such good safety culture, and I think part of that is the Enneagram, because it's all about communication and breaking down those barriers.
And as I said, you've been here for nearly 30 years, so there's got to be something that's keeping you at a workplace for that long.
Yeah, exactly. And with Port Stephens Council, I mean, I've had the opportunity to do different jobs So I know, perfect for me.
Perfect for a
Perfect. So I've done a variety of jobs. I started out as a cleaner when I was going to uni. And throughout that time I've done really different and varied jobs. I've studied along the way, and for a 7, that's just perfect. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, and
Not a
thank you for
problem.
sharing the story of the world of a Type 7.
Thank you.
Join us for another episode where you can learn more about each of the 9 Enneagram personality types as people share their journey, observations and insights. Also, check out our podcast series, Understanding Your Enneagram, on iTunes or our website.